Great. So now two things are left to do. First of all, we need to make that connection string working. We need to do some, well, additional steps for this. And we could make our life very easy, but I really want to go ahead a little bit more into details when it comes to, well, users and ports and all of that, so that you're really prepared for different scenarios. And as you have learned in the last video, we go ahead and take that builder service at singleton entities. We change that from being a singleton, change it to be of type scoped, so that we have a new entities instance for each request. Great, so this is all we have to do inside of the project for now. Let's switch over to SSMS again. So in SSMS, the first thing that we have to change is right click on the server, go to properties, go to security, and first of all, enable the authentication for SQL Server and Windows, so that we make SQL Server enabled, that we set it to enabled, right? So this is the only way that we are able to connect from Visual Studio from code in that scenario. So definitely go ahead and check this. This usually happens or is unchecked when you make a fresh installation of SQL Server. Go ahead and click OK. Now, after restarting the server, I will show you in a second how you can do that. The effects will take place. Now we will create a brand new login. So go ahead and open up security, here logins, right click new login. So we will register a new account, which is what you want to do later on pretty much very often or regularly. And I want to show you how you can do it. So now choose your, well, login name, whatever you want to have. For me, it's for example, SA Yannick. So server admin Yannick, for example. Now tick SQL Server authentication and write down a password. Take this password if you like, because this one here has the policy 1234 exclamation mark capital S secret, right? So capital S in the word secret. Now let me just paste that here 2 times, and now go ahead and make sure that you uncheck enforce password expiration. Very important, because if you don't do that, you will not be able to log in from SQL, because you first have to change your password. Great. Now default database, go ahead and change it to flights. So again, for this page, set a name, set it to SQL Server authentication, write down a password, untick enforce password expiration, and then select default database. Now on the left side, server roles, select sysadmin. So we give this user really high permissions. Now on user mapping on the left side, tick our new database flights and give him the rights as DB owner, so that we are able to read and write data. Great. This is all we have to do. Now click on OK. Go ahead and open up the SQL Server Configuration Manager. You can search for this, SQL Server Configuration Manager. You should have it installed already, because it got automatically installed when you install the SQL Server. Now, here under SQL Server Services, you can see all the running SQL servers. This is the one we are looking for, and we can right click and restart. But before we do that, on the left side, check for SQL Network Configurations, go to Protocol for SQL Server Express, right? And you can see here TCP IP, and we need to enable it. So right click, enable, right? Again, right click, properties, go to IP addresses, scroll to the very bottom, and here you can find your port, 53006. I will copy that now. This is the one for me. So if you have a different one, copy your one. So this is how you can find your port. Now, let me click OK. We needed to enable TCP IP to be able to use the port to connect to it. So make sure it's enabled. Now go to SQL Server Services, right click on your running server and hit restart. And this may take a small while. Okay, now let's switch back to our project. We need to adjust our connection string now. So data source localhost, right? I got that. Now I will put in my new port, 53006 was for me. User ID, I changed that to SA Yannick, right? That's the account I created, and I kept the password. So 1234 exclamation mark secret with a capital S. That was it for me. Now I can save this, and I want to go to View here and then open up SQL Server Object Explorer. Now open up your SQL Server. You can find the name in SSMS. So here you can see the name of your server. So remember that name and find it here in that list. That's the one for me. Now you can see the database here already. Great, now let me hit start. Okay, so I can see that everything is running. The application is starting, right? So I got that here on that screen, but that's fine. I will just shut it down for now again, because that's all we needed to do. You can see on the left side, when I now update everything, so just hit refresh, then open up flights again. There we go. You can now see when I open up tables that we have two tables, right? We have DBO flights and DBO passengers. And do you remember the point where we said that we want to seed flights, right? We got that array here of flight data and we're seeding it. Well, take a look, right click on it, view data, and you can see this is real SQL data inside of an SQL database. Now, if we start the application, we will see it again. And if we start the application 10 times, we will have 10 times the same information, right? Because we should only seed one time, because every time we start the application, we will now seed, which leads, well, to a lot of data, duplicated data in the end. So in the next video, we will take a look on how we can fix this and proceed from there. But however, in this video, you have learned how you can set up a database, a user, how you can unlock TCP IP and enable it, and then finally connect from SQL. So this is really a lot of knowledge that you will need later on.